events and issues shaping our community. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
We're here on the Capitol steps virtually here for Children's Week. We're right between the old Capitol and the new Capitol. And I'm Spiro Kent here for Comcast Newsmakers. So as we discuss all types of children's issues, our guest this hour is Senator Ronda Storms from District 10, and that's Valrico.
Yay!
Right outside of Tampa. And thanks very much for joining us.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
A lot of the folks here wanted to see you because you're on two very important education committees for children. So I'm sure a lot of people were beating a path to your door.
Yes, we had a very busy day, and it's been a very busy week. But importantly, we've done quite a bit of heavy lifting this week on children's issues, and as everyone knows, we're doing continuing work on education issues. But quite a bit of work on heavy lifting. My psychotropic drug bill came up today, and we were able to move it through another committee. That's very important for children who maybe people don't think about a lot, and those are the children who are in care, who have serious psychological things have happened to them. Maybe they've been abused, maybe they've been abandoned by their family, and so their little hearts are broken. And the way we've been treating them in the state of Florida is by giving them a lot of drugs. In fact, we had psychotropic drugs, which are drugs tested on adults and designed for mental illness. But on children, they have not been tested. They're not deemed safe for children. And in the state of Florida this year, we had a little boy. His name was Gabriel Myers, and he was on 4 different psychotropic drugs. He wound up hanging himself, committing suicide because of the negative impacts of these psychotropic drugs. So what my bill does is say, listen, these little babies, their hearts are broken. But you can't tell me, and I don't think it's acceptable, that a little 7-year-old can only be reached by drugging him. So we have to provide behavioral services, in other words, psychotherapy. Most people think of psychiatrists and they think of the couch, right? Because they know of behavioral therapy. If they knew that so many of these children are just being prescribed medication and that all that does is mask their psychological need and it fails to address their psychological need, we just medically straitjacket them until they get to 18, and then we turn them loose without the skills to deal with what's happened to them. It's a very, very serious problem, and my bill helps address that.
Easier fix than actually going into therapy, I would suspect, and less expensive.
Yes, that's one of the fixes. They require behavioral therapy, also to require consent of the parents, to require a judicial review. We were not having adequate supports. We didn't even say to the children know, teenagers know what medications can do to them and what their impact is. And so we require that the bill says, there are particular things that must occur, particularly the judicial review. We say that, if the government cannot deprive you of your First Amendment rights, if the government cannot deprive you of your property, if the government cannot abridge your rights to practice your religious freedom without overcoming a compelling governmental interest, then the government, and we're the government with these children in our care, then the government should not be able to drug you without your consent, without proving a compelling governmental interest.
Let's switch to education for a second. A lot of education initiatives during this session as well.
Yes, a lot of education, and I for one, support what we're trying to do in Senate Bill 6 and Senate Bill 4. What we're trying to do in these 2 bills is make sure that kids have an opportunity for a future and a hope. Listen, when Florida kids graduate, they are not as competitive with kids from New York, with kids from New Jersey, with kids from Massachusetts, with kids in other parts of the nation. And our kids must be able to compete, not only nationally, but internationally. So we need to make sure that the kids, when they graduate from high school, that they're not wasting more time in remedial classes when they get to college, so that they don't have to spend a year on being remediated, so just before they can even get their college courses. We want to make sure when you do 12 years of education in the state of Florida, you're ready to do whatever else it is that you want to do when you graduate.
And it's up to the teachers to make that happen.
That's right, and so that's one of the, certainly the children have responsibility, which is why we said we're going to make tougher standards there, but also make sure that the teachers have higher standards too.
All right, well, thank you very much, Senator Ronda Storms from District 10, right outside of Tampa, I might add. Our guest this hour on Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Spiro Kent in Tallahassee. Thank you for joining us.